Hi everyone. So in the last video, we talked about the multiple means of engagement. This is part two, where we're going to be talking about multiple means of representation. So welcome back, I guess, to the part two of my video, where I share how I applied some of the universal design for learning principles in my classroom. And as I've mentioned earlier in this part, I will focus on the multiple means of representation. So, one of the ways I wanted to support my students was to create a glossary of terms, of key terms in this module. The reason is because I felt it was very important, especially at the very start, because it gave students an overview of the key topics and terminology that I'll be covering through the module. Now, this particular group of students or these particular cohorts were mostly made up of international students, and for many of them, English was not their first language. So I knew that not only these concepts that I was introducing on the module were new, but also the language itself could also be a barrier or a challenge. To make it accessible for the students, I kind of used AI tools essentially to create the key terminology in different languages. For example, Portuguese, Spanish, Mongolian, depending really on the languages spoken in the class. And because I already knew my students' profile, I could almost do it in real time, because I knew the countries they were coming from, the languages that were spoken. I immediately could make sure that I cover these languages in the document. I shared the glossary through a Google Doc link and provided a PDF version as well. But essentially, the students could download the glossary and customize it in whatever way that felt right for them. And it was lovely because I received a very positive feedback from the students. They really appreciate having that extra support right from the start. And they said it really helped them to feel more confident and engaged with this new content. One thing I would say though, I think if I was redo this activity now, I'd also would include like a simplified English version alongside the kind of the standard definitions, I guess, just to make it a little bit more clear. And here is a quick screenshot of how it looked like. As you can see, it was very simple table, nothing fancy at all. And to be honest, I didn't spend much time on formatting because, of the time constraints. But I think the table itself worked pretty good. I think for me, what was really important that students could access it easily, could download it, and could customize it in a way that suited them the most. Okay. And then, as kind of different cohorts went and came, I discovered something else based on the feedback, essentially from I think first or the second cohort. And the feedback was that some students struggled or found it, certain academic phrases challenging, especially when completing assignments in English. For example, they had to write some assignments or they had to present as part of the module and they didn't know or weren't sure what were the typical expressions they might need when presenting, like introducing a topic, moving between points, referring to visuals. And similarly, a few students shared that they wanted some more support with the reflective writing language, like how to express opinion or to describe experiences or link ideas together in a more academic way. So, taking that feedback on board, I decided to create a language support resource as such. I searched for useful documents and examples online that including these kind of academic and presentation phrases, and I just put them all together in a handout and uploaded them on Moodle. Again, all this was done in advanced, so students could really see and explore these terms, these phrases, and pick which ones they would like for their assignments or presentations. And here's a quick screenshot of what it looked like. Again, I don't think it was anything fancy, just something practical that they could adapt to their own needs. I think if I had, again, more time on my hands, I would probably create my own resources and again would translate them in different languages or made these resources available in different formats. But again, as we all know, time is a big constraint. But yeah, the feedback again was quite positive. And another thing that I wanted to include in my module was offering the content in variety of formats. At the time, I didn't really have the capacity to create my own videos or adding my own reading materials for the students. So instead, I just looked for relevant videos on YouTube that aligned with the topics that we were covering in the module. I often did it myself when I was commuting, just kind of looking for any short videos and that I thought would be clear and help students to deepen their understanding. And the idea was that I encourage students to watch these videos as well if they were commuting to and from the college, so they could get a little bit extra content. And with YouTube, they are auto-generated subtitles. I think that's very helpful, and also then the platform suggest suggests other similar videos. That means that students could find very easily related content, and maybe often in their own languages. And for the students who preferred reading, I also shared some article and blog posts on similar topics. Again, everything was in English, but I know there are, inbuilt tools in the browser that can automatically translate if needed. And again, I guess my goal was just to offer a little bit of choice and a little bit of flexibility so students could engage with the content in a way that suited them the best. I think looking ahead, I would really like to take this further, I think, and try to collaborate with students and ask them to help me to find content like videos or blogs in different languages to put it all together. And here it's kind of what it looked like in practice. It was literally just a simple Google Doc with some links to 2 to 4 articles for each topic. Again, I guess I could have done more with the formatting, but I think it worked pretty well. And on the right, you can see a screenshot of the YouTube playlist that I created on my channel. The playlist was open to everyone and included short and, as I said, short and helpful videos related to the module topics. Student could access these anytime, as I said, kind of before or after the class, to review or to extend, their understanding.